All right, so I'm going to discuss the shift forks here. As far as checking them, you can go to just physically look at them. You see this one right here, it's got these grooves worn in it on this side over here. And we know that's the first second shift fork, which is this one right here. This is a 5-speed Sportster transmission. This is first and second, so that's first gear, the biggest gear. Biggest gear on the counter shaft is first. Second is the next one down, so that's the second size gear. That's first, second, third, fourth, and the exact opposite. So on the main shaft, it's going to be the smallest gear is first, which is you want to keep your shift forks in order there so you can know which ones they are. They are slightly different on all of them. So, in essence, the way this thing's going to be, this is first. This is first gear on the main shaft, which is going to be smallest gear on here, versus the largest gear on the counter shaft, which is first. Second gear is going to be this one right here on the main shaft, which is going to be second gear on the counter shaft here, which is the biggest, and so on. So for fifth gear, what happens is slider gear here will actually lock into the main drive gear, which is still in the bike there. So when it slides this way, it locks into main drive gear, which is fifth. There's no overdrive on this transmission, so you're in fifth gear, you're at a 1-to-1 ratio. As far as checking the shift forks, other than looking at them, like this one here, which is fifth and third. So if you go this way, you slide that one in. Slide that one in all the way till it locks in this gear. That's third gear. That's third gear. So this is third and fifth on this one right here. So if you take this shift fork right here, and we're just going to stick it on the, see it. Okay, since this thing is offset at the base here, or no, actually this one isn't, that's flat. So you're just going to lay a straight edge up against here, and then measure it. And it should be straight. Now you've got this sticks out a little bit on this shift fork here, this raised area. So that's where you're going to measure it to. And we got a little bit of wear on this one, but had no problems in third or fifth. So we're just going to polish that out because we don't have any grooves there. So what you want to do is just stick a straight edge on there and run a feeler gauge down there, down across here to make sure that it's level or flat. So you're going off the shift drum here. So if the shift drum's straight, if you ain't bending one of these shift drums, shift fork shaft. So you're just going to check that and make sure it's flat in there. And this one, I've already run a feeler gauge through there. It is in fact flat. Now we know that that one's no good. We're just going to stick it back on the transmission there. And this one here, because it's got a offset to it, we'll need to use, I'm just using feeler gauges on here so I can measure it. I'm still going to use my straight edge, but to be able to read the distance, actually you could do it with the two. Might be better with the dial caliper. So you see how you've got this offset right here down at the bottom, right there. So you still need to measure it here and here, and you can't really eyeball it very well on there. So for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to stick some feeler gauges in there, and we'll just stick some feeler gauges in there between the straight edge and shifter fork, and you can kind of feel if it's if it's off there, you measure it in a different area. All right, so we are going to use a dial caliper to do it with. It'll be a little bit easier that way. Get a more proper reading off of it. And you'll need to actually check both sides of the shift fork here. Make sure they're equal. We're pretty good there at 290 and 290. And let me check this other side over here. And we're good on that. As we're going to be. I know that it shifted fine in them gears. Okay, that's all I got for that. I'm still waiting on the other shift fork for Harley, which was still available. A lot of the other shit wasn't available, but most of it was. That's good there. Now on your neutral switch, this little pen here, neutral switch sticks in the case right there. So when this rolls around, clicks into neutral, it's going to depress that switch, which is going to ground it, because the way these things work is a ground. So when it's not neutral, it ain't got no ground. So the switch is just open. It's got a little spring with a little ball on the end of it. And when it clicks in, it pushes that ball against the spring. That's what gives ground to your neutral light for it to come on. So this pen, pretty important there as far as that goes. On these pens right here, I have had them before where these things just pull it apart and they just fall out. Earlier ones did anyway. These ones are good and tight. So, and your shift star is just going to line up with the pens when you put it on there, so you can't get the clip in. You need to make sure that it's sitting down on them pens there. You should be good to go. There, really, that's about all I got for that. On to something else now. Hope everybody has a good weekend, and thanks for subscribing, thanks for watching, all that stuff. And we'll just keep going on with what we're doing. Guys, have a good weekend. Take care.